Thanks so much for joining me for this week's Faith Life. In Matthew chapter 28, at the end of the chapter, there is the very well-known passage called the Great Commission. And in that, Jesus says, therefore, go and make disciples of all nations. And he tells us to baptize them. Who? The nations. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. So there's a very direct command to reach the different nations of the earth. In Acts chapter 1, verse 8, Jesus says this, but you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you. And you'll be my witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the very ends of the earth. Once again, there's a representation that the gospel wasn't just for the first Jewish believers, but the gospel was for every nation, every tribe, everyone to have the opportunity of hearing about Jesus. Let me also remind you about Matthew 24. In Matthew 24, Jesus gives us some of the warnings of what would be taking place at the end of the age. He said there's going to be an increase of wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes, famines, and he talks about all of these things. Now let me remind you, the earthquakes aren't the promises of God. Famine, wars, and rumors of wars, they're not promises from him, but they were prophetic foretellings. They were warnings about what would be taking place as we would be seeing the culmination of the ages. You know what else Jesus said? He said that nation would rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Have you ever thought about that? What's the difference between a nation rising against a nation and a kingdom against a kingdom? If you look at the Greek words, you'll find that the word kingdom really refers more to what we think of as nations now. A kingdom is more like a country with its boundaries, and kingdoms will rise against kingdoms, that the nations of the earth will come against one another. But the word that he said, nation rise against nation, it's different than the word kingdom. It's the Greek word ethnos. It's where we get the word ethnic. He told us that in the last days we would see a major push for ethnic group to rise up against ethnic group and kingdoms against kingdoms. Maybe I should say it this way. The different races are going to begin to have division. The different human races are going to have a stronger division than they've ever had, and the countries are going to rise up against one another. I'm sure many of you have heard about the Trayvon Martin case and about George Zimmerman and the shooting that took place in Florida. Let me remind you, anytime that someone is shot and murdered, it breaks the heart of God, and it should move our heart to intercede and to pray. But let me also caution you, whether you're black or white, Hispanic or Indian or Chinese or Japanese, or you're from the UK or you're an Irish person, whatever your race is, let's not fall to the race game. Let's recognize that Jesus said that there would be a movement in the earth in the last days to get us to stand against each other as races. And let's recognize that. And as believers, let's speak peace. Let's cry out for justice. Let's ask God to move in this situation and to bring peace where there seems to be no peace. I don't expect the world to act this way, but as a follower of Jesus Christ, I'm going to. And I challenge you to do the same thing. So whatever your ethnicity is, as a follower of Jesus, can we partner with peace and declare the peace of God and the justice of God and stand against those very things that Jesus said would be taking place? Why did he tell us? Because he wants us to be a voice to make a difference when they happen. God bless you, and use your faith life to bring peace to those that you come in